Hi and welcome to Outwell and to the Phoenix 4 from the Privilege collection. You can see here it's a large tunnel design tent. It's aimed to sleep up to 4 people. With it being from our Privilege collection, you'll find that the fabric we're using on here is our Outex 4000. So this is a premium quality taffeta polyester on here. All of the seams have been fully taped and it's fully PU coated on the inside as well, and that gives this tent a hydrostatic head of 4000 millimeters, so totally waterproof. The frame that we use on here is from here to the back all Duratec fiberglass. So these are a little bit stronger and better quality than standard fiberglass because these actually have a protective sheath on the outside, which just makes them that little bit stronger and certainly that little bit more rigid than standard fiberglass as well. You will find at the back, which will be hard to see from here, we do colour code these pole sleeves to make sure that you get the right one in the right place, so nice and easy to set up as well. What you will find though is right at the front of this tent, because it's a 3-zone tent, is that we have a full length steel pole. So that is what creates this sort of front wet room area, if you like. And of course, with that being steel, it means that even when the door is open, if you're using it more as a sort of extension feel at the front here, then it's going to be nice and solid as well. Certainly in terms of rigidity, that's added to actually on here thanks to our wind stabilizer system. I'll just show you now how that works. So when you're setting the tent up, all you need to do is wrap these Velcro tabs around the frame like this and pop these into position here. You'll find that there's one at the top and at the bottom of all the poles all the way around the tent, and this is where we then attach our guy lines. When you take the guy lines out and peg them into place, that pulls the fabric against the frame of the tent, making it much more taut and therefore much more stable. So it's a very good performing tent in bad weather because of course it's completely waterproof, as I say, and it's also very stable in windy conditions too. I also just want to highlight that the fabric has been treated for UV protection, so it's going to give it even better protection under sunlight, and it's going to make sure that the fabric lasts a good long time, and it is also fire retardant as well. So some of the other features that we have on here then, we have our air-effective ventilation system on here, where you can see this real streamlined and sleek ventilation. If I just open this up a little bit more for you, you'll see on the inside that we have a mesh panel. That's going to allow cool, fresh air into the tent. That's going to reduce condensation within there and of course keep you a little bit more comfortable. If it does get too chilly, then we can simply remove these Velcro tabs like this and push down just to close these over. I'll just leave it open for the moment. So with this being the sort of wet area or wet room at the front here, what you will find is we put on these mud valances around the bottom just to allow water to run down and away from the inside of the tent. And here's probably a good point to show you as well that all the way around the tent we're using luminous guy lines, so hopefully you're not going to trip over these quite as easily. And they each have their own retainer as well, which are little Velcro loops, just like this one here. So this is great for when you pack the tent down, you can roll up the guy lines in your hand, pop them in there, so the next time you come to use the tent, these guy lines aren't going to be in a big tangled mess for you to have to spend a lot of time undoing. So coming around to the front of the tent here, as I say, we have our wet room or sort of front zone area. It's a 3-zone tent, which we'll come on to shortly, but this area, we call it a wet room simply because you can leave this door open here, like I say, to kind of create a more open fronted sort of extension feel to the front of the tent. You've got a detachable ground sheet within this area as well, which is waterproof. It's a good quality double coated polyethylene material. It's got a hydrostatic head of 10,000 mil. And it does come up around the edges, it just toggles into position, so it should reduce the amount of draft and things like that in this area. But it doesn't have to be here, it does toggle in, so you don't have to have it in the front here. The door itself is rolled away at the moment, and it does have large windows, which you can probably just see on here. So when that is zip closed, if you're sitting in this area, you'll still get good views out of here because you've got windows either side, and you'll have windows on the door as well. Now this door actually features 4 zip pullers on there, so you can actually roll it to whichever side suits the pitch that you're on, or of course you can choose to bring the zip down from the top if you want to use it almost like a sort of stable door style, but obviously it will zip completely closed as well. So stepping into the tent then, what divides this wet area from the sealed area is this large dividing wall, which we have opened up here just to allow lots of light in here so you can see the tent. And at the moment, as I say, with it being rolled away, you won't get to see much of the features that I'm talking about here, but there are large ventilation panels on this door. Again, you've got zippers on here that can zip this thing all the way around if you want, so you can completely separate these areas. Or again, you can zip it sort of halfway and toggle it back. There are large ventilation panels on there as well, so if you want, you can leave them open to allow for good ventilation within the sealed area itself. So certainly plenty of space within this tent here. I'm quite tall at around 1.95 m, and I can certainly stand up throughout the entire tent. That's accentuated with large windows all the way around us, allowing lots of light in here, making it feel that bit more spacious. If you do want some privacy though, each window has its own curtain. So you can see here we have them rolled away at the moment at the bottom here, but these can easily just be taken out and brought either halfway up into toggle points on here, or they can be fully closed as well. And here is just a good point to show you the strip of mesh which corresponds to that outside ventilation that I mentioned. At the top, in the middle of the tent, is a lantern hanging point in a good central location. So coming away both ways from this, we have some cable tidies. So if you've got an electric light up here with a cable running up, then you can keep the cable out of the way, and it would come down to where we have our cable entry point just on the side here. So you can see what we can do here is bring the power into the tent through the zipped opening here without actually opening up the side door here. So speaking of side doors, just highlight there is 2 side doors on here. Again, these have got full mesh doors on them as well, so you should be able to get great through ventilation on here with those large ventilation panels on that dividing door, and then these ones here which have got the waterproof doors rolled up at the moment. So this entire area, as I said before, is fully sealed from the dividing wall to the back and side to side as well. And you can just see the ground sheet here comes up at the edges, so it's a bathtub style ground sheet which is sealed in place, so that's going to completely stop any drafts from coming in, making your feet that little bit too cold. It'll also keep out things like dirt, dust and sand, and more importantly, hopefully keep out those unwanted bugs as well. So at the back of the tent is where the bedrooms are situated, and there are 2 bedrooms here, and this tent can sleep up to 4 people. So a really nice feature here though is that these bedrooms actually come pre-attached, so it's a job that you don't need to worry about. They're already in place for you. In terms of features, we have some pockets on the outside here, which are obviously going to be great for smaller personal possessions. We then have mesh ventilation panels on the bedroom doors themselves, just like this here. Inside the bedroom, we also have some more handy storage pockets, so this is going to be great for books or phones and chargers and things like that. Across the back, we have a large ventilation panel which corresponds to outside ventilation on the fly sheet as well. The bedrooms are divided with this zipped piece of material here. There's a zip on both ends of it, so you can zip them up and roll that up to create one big large bedroom across the back if you want, or of course you can have it like this where you've got the 2 bedrooms here. So we have a couple of optional extras available for this tent, which would be the flat woven carpet that you can see in the sealed area there for a little bit more comfort and insulation underfoot. And there's also a footprint available to go underneath the ground sheet here to keep that ground sheet clean and dry on wet, muddy days. So there you have it. That's all the features of the Phoenix 4 from the Privilege collection. Thank you very much for watching.